Oh, class is about to start. The Wi Fi is not working. What to do? Switch on the data. Quick, it's almost time. And another problem. I have limited budget. My friends are asking for my birthday party, and for the exams, I have to buy a book. What should I do? Party or books? I'm not able to decide. So, what to do? How to decide? Well, welcome to another session at Knowledge is Fun 2020, where we are obviously going to discuss about the management of resources. In the last video, we discussed about what are resources, what are the different types of resources. Now, this is part 2, and we'll discuss the characteristics of resources, need for managing resources, analysis of the process of management of resources. So let us begin. What I was talking about Wi Fi, data, money, utilization, we'll all understand in this video. Don't bother. Remember these three kids? Sonu, Monu, and Geeta? They were very worried how to manage the resources. What are the resources? I don't need any resources. I have everything at home. But then we made them realize the air they are breathing in, the water, food, these were all resources, whether they were human resources or non human resources. Now we'll talk about the characteristics of resources. So, Sonu, Monu, and Geeta, just have a look at this boy. Who's he? Your friend? Now they are telling that first quality of resources is that they are accessible. Accessible, you have a reach to them. Now, here he has the money. This boy has so much of money. And the second one, you can see the empty pockets. Now, both of them need money either for buying the books or for the birthday party. But money is a resource only for this person because it is accessible to him. And this money is not accessible to 2. And because 2 is not able to get the money, it is not a resource for him. So the first characteristic of resources is that it is accessible. The second is it should be of utility. Now see, this boy got so many gifts from the Santa when he was very young. Now he is old and he feels like these stuffed toys are of no use to him. So this is not a resource for him. What does he do? He donates it. To whom? To some smaller kids on the street. And because it is of use to those street kids, these toys are again of utility. So the second characteristic is they should be of use. The third is interchangeability. Now you want to go for a vacation or you want to go in with your friends. The first option is the bus. You are waiting for the bus, it's a lockdown, the bus is not available. What is the next option? You can hire an Ola or go in for your car. It means that the resources are interchangeable. It's not that if one resource is not available, you won't be able to do the task. You can use some other resource. And the last characteristic is they are all manageable. See how many natural resources are there. Remember natural resources? If you don't, go back to the first video, watch it, revise it, and make your notes. So now you understand when you are making your notes, take your pen, pencil, and your copy along with colored pens and make colorful notes which are so easy to remember in your exams. The characteristics of resources, write down 1, 2, 3, 4 with different pens and your notes are ready. That will be also a resource in your exams. So in this, how many natural resources? Trees, water, air, land. So all these resources have to be managed very carefully. Let's understand these resources in details, the characteristics. The first is utility, the importance or usefulness of a resource in helping achieve a goal. I gave you an example of this kid. Now, these toys are of no use to him. What does he do? He has a younger brother and a sister. He gives the toys to them. So, these toys which are of no use to him are a resource for somebody else, that is his younger kids. So, the utility depends on the goal and the situation. The proper use of resources available leads to greater satisfaction. If these toys are lying in your cupboard, it's of no use, but somebody else is using it, it gives you great satisfaction. Another very practical example is cow dung, which is on the roads. You feel that it is a waste, but when the same is used as a fuel or a manure, it becomes a very important renewable resource. Got it? The next one characteristic was accessibility. Accessibility is the availability of resources to the people. I gave you this example. So some resources are more easily available compared to others. For example, if you look around, the air you are breathing is very easily available, but pure air, it's not very easily available. Now, if you go in for means of transport, the bus is available everywhere. The aeroplane is not available everywhere. So some resources are easily available and some are not. Some resources are more easily available to some as compared to others. Now suppose these two guys want to go in for a party or they want to take an Ola. तो जिसके पास पैसा नहीं है, he'll think that I'll take a private bus, a public bus, and I'll go. ये सोचेगा कि I'll go in for an Ola or I'll go by my own car. So some resources, if you want a private taxi or your own car, it is not easily available to everybody. So some resources are available to some people as compared to others. And the availability of resources changes over time. Now suppose this boy, his name is B. He has so much of money. Now he gives a party. So all the money is spent. Will he have money to buy the books then? No. So the availability of resource changes over time. Accessibility of resources, it varies from person to person and time to time. I've already explained it in these 2 points. For example, every family has money as a resource. सबके पास है money. Some have limited and some have sufficient and some have too much money which they are not even able to spend. So the quantity of resources in each family is different and it varies during the beginning and end of the month. When you get the salary, this money is sufficient. Towards the end of the month, it is reduced. So it varies with person to person and time to time. The third characteristic was interchangeability. That is, if one resource is not available, it can be substituted by another. Almost all the resources have substitutes. And because they have substitutes, thus the same function can be performed by a number of resources. For example, if the school bus does not arrive on time, you can go to the school by your own car. If the bed is not working, you can take the bedding and sleep on the floor. So there are so many examples. Every resource is interchangeable and the resources are manageable. Resources can be managed in a manner for their optimum utilization, and because all the resources are limited, they should be managed properly and effectively. Even the renewable resources or the natural resources, even the pure air, clean water, they are also limited resources and need to be managed properly. And that is why we have save water, clean water, conserve water, trees. This is very important now. Resources should be used in such a way that we attain maximum output with minimum input. मतलब input तो हमारा सबसे कम होना चाहिए, minimum, and the output should increase. And that is why now we make use of solar energy, wind energy, so that our input is less and the output is more. And because optimum management and optimum utilization is necessary, we need to understand the whole concept of managing resources. Management means using minimum resources for maximum output. So, why do we need to manage resources? Because all the resources are finite, no resources are unlimited. So, the need to utilize resources effectively is very important if we want to achieve our goals. Now, during pollution, we realize how important it is to maintain the air which is clean. That is why nowadays, have you seen the drive that at red light switch off the engines? It is to use the resources effectively so that we can reach our goals fast and efficiently. Resources, whether they are human, non-human, natural, community, they should never be misused and wasted. Thus, effective management of resources is extremely essential to get the most from the resources available to us. For example, everybody has 24 hours. Some plan to achieve the goals and other waste their time. So these 24 are utilized by every person in his and her own way. The management in process of the resources, or any management process for that matter, involves five aspects. What are they? The first is planning, second is organizing, next is implementing, controlling, and evaluation. So these are five steps. The first is planning, second is organizing, third is implementation, then is control and evaluation. POICE, poison नहीं है ये, POICE. So these are the different steps. First we begin with planning. इसको अगर आप पहले ही सोच के चलो how is it done, then you won't have to remember it. Now whenever you have to do anything, the first step is planning. कोई भी step लेने से पहले आप plan करते हो. Even if you have to go to school, you plan it a day earlier, you set your alarm, you get up and maintain your time. So this is the first step in any management process for any resources. It helps visualize the path to reach the goal. This is the first step. If you have to reach your school on time, then also planning is a must. If you have to complete your homework, सबसे पहले you have to think what to do, when to do. So plan is a scheme for action to achieve specified goals by using available resources, and it involves selecting the course of action for various options. You can get up at 5 o'clock, 5:15, 5:20, 5:25. You decide what time is the best time. Now, to plan in the best possible manner, we need to ask the following questions. First is, what is our present situation? Assess the present situation. What are the resources which you have? Where do you stand? The next is, where do we want to reach? Setting the specific goals or targets which we desire. What do you actually want? The third is the gap between the present and the desired situation, and we need to cover this gap if we want to achieve our goals. And finally, how can we reach the desired goals? Assess the current status and the future goal. Now you can see this. What is your present situation? This is the first step. अब हम इसे आपके एग्जाम के हिसाब से लेते हैं. You have your 12th class board exams. Now it is already December. December say you have your exams in March. Now what should you do? What is your present situation? How much syllabus have you actually covered? You realize that you have covered, it's only an example, 50% syllabus. There are only 3 months and 50% syllabus is remaining. The gap is 50%. Now how can we reach the desired goals? You have 5 subjects. तो अब आपको क्या करना पड़ेगा? हर सब्जेक्ट के लिए you have to decide 50% is remaining and 3 months are remaining. That is how much time you will give, how much do you need to study. या फिर suppose you have got 60% in the second term exams and you want at least 95%. What is the gap? 35%. तो अब you need to realize how will you cover these 35%. आपको बुक्स ज़्यादा पढ़नी पड़ेंगी, टाइम इंक्रीज करना पड़ेगा, reduce your TV time, mobile time. What all do you need to do? तो what is your present situation? अभी आप कहाँ पर हैं? Where do you want to reach? How to bridge the gap? And how can we reach the desired goals? So this boy, he wants to become a teacher. तो क्या ज़रूरी है उसे? अभी उसे B.Ed करना है, bachelor's करना है. तो what all he needs to do is the planning. So the steps in planning are, first identify the problem. What is it that you want to do? Then what are the different alternatives? अगर आपको स्कूल जाना है तो you have school bus, you can go by walking, you can go by your car, you can ask for a ride from your friend. These are the various alternatives. You will decide कौन सा सबसे अच्छा है and you will take a school bus. It's a choice. फिर you have to choose between the alternatives. You have chosen the school bus. Acting to carry out the plan, putting the plan into action. The next step will be putting the plan into action. Get ready to catch the bus. And accepting the consequences, it is very important. Suppose you are late and you miss the bus, then it is your decision and you have to accept the consequences. The next step was organizing. Organizing is the collecting and arranging of appropriate resources in order to implement plans in an effective and efficient manner. After making the decision, what is it that you have to do? You have to collect and arrange the appropriate resources. For example, if you have to study, you need to improve then you need books, you need to prepare proper notes, you need place to study, lights, time, etc., so that you can score good marks. So this is all organizing. You have already collected everything that you required. The next step is, obviously, if you have collected, it's of no use. You have to study it too. Now this girl had collected, now she's studying it. This is implementation. This stage involves carrying out the prepared plan. Here you are actually implementing the plan, you are taking actual actions. For example, you plan into action by starting to study from the available resources which you collected, that is books, notes, space, light. तो सब collect हो गया था. Now you have started acting upon it. The next stage is controlling. Now you see this boy, the book is there, organized तो उसने सब कर लिया. He also studied it, but now what happened? He has taken the mobile and is not doing anything else. So it is the task of ensuring that the activities are produced using the desired result and the planning to action is effective. ऐसे तो नहीं effective हो सकती if is using the mobile. It helps monitor the outcome of activities and to make sure that the plans are being implemented correctly. So you have to monitor continuously that you are going as per the plans. अगर आपको ऐसा दिखे तो इसको हटा दो, फौरन remove the mobile and start studying. The importance is that in controlling you get the feedback which helps you check the errors. Because you get the feedback, you realize आपने चेक किया था कि एक वीक में आप कम से कम 5 chapters you will complete. And you, after 5 days, you see that you have only completed 1 chapter. Now 2 days are left and you still have 4 more lessons to do. This is controlling. You have to realize that whatever you were doing is not suitable. So feedback, it helps you revise the plan so that you can achieve your goals. For example, if you were unable to complete the planned chapter before because of the mobile, the control is you have to remove the mobile. Now, final evaluation. In the final stage, the outcomes that have arrived after putting the plan into action are evaluated. जब लेसन पूरा नहीं हुआ, आपके scores कम है, तो what you have to evaluate. The end result of the task is compared with the desired result. Now, after completing the whole week, you had 5 chapters. You realize that you were able to complete only 3 after all the control and 2 were still left. So how much is the difference? It is of 2 chapters. And the limitations and strength of the task are noted so that they can be used in future to achieve one's goal. अब आप इसका analysis करेंगे. Why did it happen? Because you were spending a lot of time on the mobile. So now you'll realize the strength and the weakness. Strength was that you were able to complete 3 chapters. The weakness was you had your mobile, which was very disturbing. So you have to take steps, remove the mobile. For example, another example, जब आपका रिजल्ट आता है, आप अपनी नोटबुक्स देखते हैं, you realize what were your mistakes, what were your strengths, what were their weakness, and identify the reasons of losing your marks, and then you try to find your strengths and limitations for the next exam so that you can score better. See, this boy, he wants to score good and he has to realize what he requires. This is realizing your strengths and weaknesses. If you are able to do this, your management is successful. I hope the process was clear. The characteristics are also clear. And now you have decided कि आपके पास अगर पैसे कम हैं, एग्जाम्स आ रहे हैं, तो is the party more important or the books? Plan accordingly. All the best for your exams and thanks for watching. If you have liked it, do give me a thumbs up. Share it with your friends. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe to Knowledge is One 2020 and don't forget to motivate me with your comments. See you in the next video. Bye-bye.